Neil Gaiman's amazing comic series, The Sandman, premiered in January of 1989. So, yeah, it's been a long time coming. They've gone through many different variations, different versions, whether it was going to be a movie or a series or whatever. Finally, we get it. Netflix brings it to us. And I have to say, I'm I'm just kind of blown away. I'll just say that right now. I'm blown away. Let's talk about The Sandman. A wizard attempting to capture death to bargain for eternal life traps her younger brother Dream instead. Fearful for his safety, the wizard kept him imprisoned in a glass bottle for decades. After his escape, Dream, also known as Morpheus, goes on a quest for his lost objects of power. The series stars Tom Sturridge, Boyd Holbrook, Patton Oswalt, and Vivienne Acheampong. One thing I do want to make sure that you're aware of, this show is very adult in nature and doesn't shy away from things that most shows would. There are scenes of suicide, of self-harm, self-mutilation. Those things are very present, especially in one episode. So I will just warn you of that, and yeah, we can move on. So I've been reading The Sandman for a couple of years. There was a big sale over on Comixology, not sponsored or anything like that, but Comixology to me is one of the best ways to read digital comics. It just is, at least for me. It's just my personal preference. But anyway, yeah, there was a crazy sale. I think it was $4 for a volume, and there's 13 volumes. I just picked up the whole thing. I said, screw it. I'm going to buy them all. And I bought them all. And I've been slowly making my way through them, savoring the storytelling, the artwork, the just amazing way that this story plays out. I'm in love, and I want to prolong it as long as I can because it's amazing. So when I heard that they were doing a series over on Netflix and I saw Tom Sturridge, I thought, okay, I mean this could be something. But look, comic adaptations are hard to do. They're hard to get right. They're hard to really boil it down to that thing that makes them amazing. Like, what makes this comic amazing? And Netflix has done something that I just didn't think was possible. The introduction to the world is just completely like amazing and perfect. Like, I don't know of a better way to do it. There were times when I was blown away by the beauty of the image. Like like internal scenes, the haze, I'm learning something from our good buddy Leon, but the haze in the background, it made it look very ethereal and just wonderful. It just look, I love it. I love the way that it looks. It looks so good. And the music. Oh my gosh, the music is really, really good and very effective at pulling those heartstrings when needed. It's everything about this show is, I don't know if I'd change a single thing. The casting was where I was initially confused. I was like, why change Lucien to Lucienne and make him a woman? Like, I don't understand. Of course, anytime that they said they were going to do something different with Lucifer, I was fine with that. To me, Lucifer is kind of an androgynous figure, so I had no problem with that. But then there was other ones like Constantine, right? Which is now Constantine, right? Always thought it was Constantine, but anyway, it's Constantine, John Constantine. Now it's Joanna Constantine. I mean, is this gonna work? So Lucienne, played by Vivienne Acheampong, she is so perfect. There is literally nothing has changed about this character, and she has made it her own and made it like an easy transition. Like, there was no reason for me to be worried. She is great. I think one of the biggest things that I've heard people say in reviews and such, that the voice of Matthew, Patton Oswalt, is a little distracting and all that. I don't care. I love him. I love Matthew. The character of Matthew is seriously one of my favorite characters, and probably the character that has made me laugh out loud the most when I'm reading the comics. I love his character. So you're taking one of my favorite comics and making him Matthew, I'm kind of okay with that. It doesn't affect me at all. And Constantine, Joanna Constantine, played by Jenna Coleman. She is luminous in this role. And I mean, look, I don't know what to say. I just think that she did an amazing job. And I think that even though Constantine isn't in these volumes of the Sandman, because this covers the first 2 volumes of the Sandman, the series, Netflix series, 10 episodes. She's in it more than I thought she would be. But she was also, well, like I said, I thought she was great. Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer. As I said, I never thought that it was a big deal that Lucifer was androgynous and that could be a man or a woman. In fact, all of the characters, most of the characters, you could gender swap them and it doesn't matter. In fact, it happens from time to time with Dream and with Death and with other characters of the Endless. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I really enjoyed her portrayal. I just kind of wish that the costume itself was a little, I don't know, augmented with CG a little more to make her a little more hellish. I don't know how to say it. She wasn't quite as menacing as I wanted her to be, and maybe that's just my own thing, but that's just what I remember. Another bit of casting that was a little, I don't know, I wouldn't call it controversial, but some people had brought it up that it was interesting that they made Death a black woman instead of a white woman. You know, Kirby Howell-Baptiste, I have to say, completely won me over in literal seconds. When she was on screen, I was glued to it, and I don't think anybody could have done any better. I think she did such an amazing job with that character. I can't wait to see more. I really, really want to see more of Death in future episodes and hopefully future seasons. Keep going. Please just keep going with Sandman. Boyd Holbrook as the Corinthian. Now, Boyd Holbrook has always been one of those actors that's been in movies that aren't quite that good. You know, he's been charismatic and kind of interesting, but never really won me over. Here he's awesome. He's like really, really awesome. Menacing, and the way that I don't know, the way he's so charismatic here that I loved his performance. And I guess we'll see what happens in the future with his character. But man, Boyd Holbrook is great. I would say one of the biggest changes really is the character of John Dee or Dr. Destiny, played by David Thewlis. His character was definitely modified. And I would say in a good way. It made it a little bit more grounded, because he almost looks like, you know, just a walking skeleton in some panels in the comic, but here you actually kind of feel for him, and you actually, I don't know, it's a strange thing that they did with him, with his character. I was expecting him to go through a physical transformation to make him look more ghastly and all that. It never happened. He is David Thewlis all the way through, and I have to say, I think they did a really, really good job with his character and making it a little more even and not just a monster. You know, you actually kind of, like I said, you felt for him. I really, really enjoyed his performance. And that brings us to Dream himself, Morpheus, the King of Dreams, the Sandman, Tom Sturridge. Wow, just like I'm so just shocked at how well everyone fits into this world so perfectly, and everything is just so well realized. But it's all about the characters here. You know, the characters are so important, and their portrayal is so important. Tom is pitch perfect as Dream. He's just got that right amount of sadness, but there's hope there. There's something. He's such a fascinating character anyway, and I think he looks great. I think he looks exactly the way Dream should look. So awesome. if I had to pick one episode that just kind of made me say, okay, this may be the best single episode of whatever ever. I mean, it's just like amazing. Episode 6, The Sound of Her Wings, was a beautiful, absolutely beautiful episode. It made me flat out cry multiple times. And it's just beautifully done. And especially having an episode like that after what we ended with episode 5. Episode 5 was I mean, wow, that was a rough episode, you know? And then to come into episode 6 and this complete gear change. But it was done so effortlessly well. And as I said, Death, just, it touched me in so many different ways. Just in so many different aspects of life, that I have been through. It was a beautiful, beautiful episode. And it just continued. It continued to get, it was just great all the way through it. All the way through. I love this series, but episode 6 for me is the standout. I don't know how, I mean, I know that Neil Gaiman, of course, was there with the, I guess, the layout of the series and things like that. And I don't know how involved he was in each individual episode, but I can't think of a better adaptation ever. Like, I can't think of a book, a comic book, any sort of adaptation you can think of. I can't think of a better one than this. This one is done with such care. And there are things that I'm like, I can't believe they pulled that off. I'm shocked at how well the written word translates to live action. It's uncanny, it's crazy, it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's heartwarming, it's scary and awesome. It's just, I think The Sandman is quite literally the best film adaptation, the best adaptation of anything ever. So, The Sandman, have you seen it? What did you think of it? And if not, are you going to watch it? Because like I said, the show is probably not for everybody. There's probably going to be some people that are turned off by some themes and some characters, things like that. But you know what? This is, like I said, probably the most faithful adaptation from a comic to any sort of screen that I've ever seen. It's so good. I loved it, but I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. So let me know down below what you're thinking of The Sandman, and we'll talk about it. So thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.